But you also have to take into account recovery. You also have to take into account um you got to work with me here. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. It's a bit of a rough start today, huh?
I absolutely hate waking up in the mornings.
Isn't it like nighttime for you?
Talking about mornings, right?
Yeah. It's like
Like
almost midnight for you.
imagine if we could get so much more sleep than we do already,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Better yet, imagine what if we had 48 hours in the day rather than 24. How do you think daily life would be like if that was the case? Let's
What if
take
we
that
had,
as today's topic.
there would still just be 365 days in a year, yeah?
Yes. So just
Okay.
double the size of the days, but still have 365 days. What if that was the case?
Oh, there's a lot to mention on this. First of all, right,
So daily life first. How do you think that would change or differ?
I think you'd have a lot more time to kind of do what you wish, but I also feel like that's going to have implications on more of the business side of things and the more of responsibility side of things. Because right now, right, how long do you sleep? 8 hours, right? 7 hours sometimes, and then the rest of the day you have uni. If you have a job, you have your job, right? And then other than that, you kind of just do whatever, right? Stuff you have to do responsibility wise on your own or otherwise. Say you had 48 hours now. The sleep time you would have would probably be same, right? You probably still only sleep 8 hours. No, you'd sleep more,
Sleep
maybe,
twice a day.
but that would still just technically be one day. If I had 48 hours, I would sleep long and try to stay up the whole day, right?
I don't know if you'd make it the whole day.
Yeah, you'd be cracked out on coffee and like caffeine, just yeah.
Well,
But
I
I
mean
think
that's for people that are affected by caffeine or that really have caffeine in their diet. Like take me for example, right? I don't drink coffee. I don't have caffeine as my
you're
diet.
odd.
But I honestly think I think certain people could make it through the day with one set of sleep on their hands. Like you said, like sleeping really long. I think that would
Yeah,
definitely be a new norm.
yeah. For me, like I would sleep like 13 hours, 14 hours, and then wake up and
Oh,
get.
easily.
But I think like I'm just thinking about work, right? Or like uni or school even, right? Would that go longer?
I think it would be I think it would stay the same time. I just think that then you'd have more time to do other shit. Right. So like
You
when I
reckon?
say that I think yeah, because I don't think people are gonna want to work or
Yeah, but you
have the
don't think companies are going
attention
to make
span.
people force more?
Sorry?
You don't think companies are going to make that a new norm
No, I
to
think
work longer?
work okay, let me put it to you like this, right? I think companies and like the corporate atmosphere will
Mm-hmm.
definitely try and like maximize how long they have their employees working for
Yeah,
during the
but
week, obviously. But when we're talking about like academics, like university, like school, I think there's
yeah.
only a certain amount of time that you can have kids and students in school where they're actually paying attention, where the what you're
Yeah,
teaching
there's
them is
only
actually hitting them.
efficient,
Yeah,
like, right? Yeah.
because at some point you do really get tired, and that's it.
So then there's kind of two topics in that to discuss, right? For the normal civilian, like a youngin or someone that's
Hmm.
in university
So
like
a
us,
younger
or
person, yeah.
professional. So
Okay, yeah.
which side of the topic do you want to
I
take for a
would
spin?
go more for students because that's what we are, right?
More relevant, yeah.
Yeah, and I
I,
would continue.
for us, like if the case is where the university timings or school timings doesn't change, that would be pretty beneficial, I think, because you have more time and freedom to kind of mentally reset yourself before the next like work or responsibility to have to do. Because right now, just take our lives for example, right? We wake up a certain time because we have to do certain things by a certain time. Then we have university, right? in my
Mhm.
case, it's later in the evening. Yours is more in the morning, right? So we have to time our schedule. That's responsibility. Then you have your house chores, stuff you have to do around the house, stuff that you have to do outside your house. Like, I
I
feel
think
like,
I honestly there would be two parts of your day where it'd be broken
yeah.
up. I think there'd be first off, just going back real quick to the sleep bit. I think the sleep bit would very much be split into two different types of people. By the way, um, people who sleep long, like a set amount of
hmm
time, and then they just stay up the entire day, or people who sleep twice in the day, like once in going into the day and once in
I
the
think
middle
you
of the day.
definitely need to nap though. Like
I
you,
think they're gonna. I think it's
yeah.
gonna be broken up into those two, right?
Okay.
And so moving forward with that, and on to the point of how like normal day would go, right? What we
hmm
were talking about. I think for students, it would definitely be like you'd have two parts of your day,
Okay.
right? Where you have one part of your day where you're really getting like your productivity stuff done, your chores and not sorry, not necessarily your chores, your responsibilities towards like your academics, your school stuff and whatnot, right? And then the second part of your day would be more like personal stuff, your chores, your part-time job, dealing with like friends,
That's
uh,
actually a good point
studying.
about the part-time job.
Do you
You
know what
could
I
pick up
mean?
a job while uni
Well, a lot of
or
students
yeah.
have jobs in uni, right?
Yeah, but
Because
you
they
could
need to
pick up
make money.
more. You have
Oh,
more time to make
definitely. If
money.
you really
Okay.
wanted to, you could. But I think it would honestly be broken up into two parts because I don't think, like I said before, right? I don't think university would run longer than it already does. I just think that's
Yeah,
too
probably
much,
not. No.
right?
University is like nothing, bro. High school was worse, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, when you do get to university, right, you do slowly condition yourself into being
Being
used
a
to
weakling. Yeah.
being used
4
to
hours of
learning
work, I'm
less,
done.
but
Yeah.
more specialized stuff, right? And I honestly
Yeah,
think you would have a better workforce because of it, because you'd have more time actually. Say the uni days got a little bit longer, you could cover more per
yeah.
class, right? I honestly think you'd actually come out with long term. Now I'm talking, right? Come out with a better workforce.
All right. So I kind of agree with you there, but what I'm more interested in, right? So we kind of both agree that everyday life, it's going to get longer. It's going to get, you have the ability to do more. But I was thinking more of the implications it could have, like in general on society or just in general on, um, not society necessarily again, but what's the word I'm looking for? Like basically just the repercussions it could have because if the work day is longer or it's the
Hmm.
same, right? But the day is longer, so there's 48 hours now instead of 24. That would mean you need to either earn more or companies would pay more for less hours because you're gonna have to sustain yourself more, right?
So if we're now moving into working class people, right?
No, it's still
Then
students as well. Like, because students
students,
work
okay,
part
when
time
you
because they
talk
want to
about
buy food.
students, right, you're talking about people that are living off of hourly wages, right? If we're talking about like their incomes, sorry,
Yeah,
their
that
incomes
works.
are
Yeah.
based off of hourly wages, right? And so I guess yeah, employers would be paying more, but they'd also be getting more productivity done, right? Because that whole side of the topic is completely.
So we kind of both agree on, well, not necessarily agree. We kind of have an idea of what we think the implications would be on students, right? But let's
Mhm.
take a more look. Students are included in this because they're also part of the working class. A lot of uni
Right.
students that, yeah, we
Yeah.
know, and so they also work. Let's take a more look at the professional side of it. Like, what would workers' daily's life be impacted by? What do you think, at least? How?
Okay. I definitely think there's an argument to be made where you would get a lot more productivity done. Like you could see a lot more production, I guess,
But this
sprouting
is
from
from
all
employer
this.
side or from the employees?
From employer's side, right? But I'm getting to
Okay,
the point that for employees, right? So people that say have to work multiple shifts to get stuff done and also then look after their kids and whatnot, right? They'd have a lot more time on their hands, right?
true.
But but there's only so much a human can work before they absolutely drop dead,
Okay.
right? In a day,
Yeah, like this company, like they're working me to the bones, bro. I'm gonna die before we reach like 20 episodes. It's rough, but yeah,
Yeah. There's only so much like the labor force can actually like provide for producers, for like businesses, right?
yeah,
For the average like working class person, you're only gonna get so many hours out of them. Now that'll really, like, I guess, like survival of the fittest kind of will kick in a little bit, that people who can work more physically, people that can work more will actually start, you'll see a bigger gap between those who can work more and those who can only work less because of other constraints like kids, like
yeah.
household responsibilities and whatnot, right? I think that'll definitely be a thing. So yeah, on the topic of like prices of goods and shifts, right?
Hmm.
You wouldn't see prices fluctuate too much on goods that we see already, because you'll already have that same workforce. Like I said, 98% say of the workers already working that first shift, right? And 2% for unemployment, right? Um like
Those
2%
are
you can
quite the
discount for
stats.
unemployment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but say that 98% of the labor force is already working that first shift, and say that they go off after that first shift, because obviously second shift in the day, that would be impossible for them to work. They'd be too fatigued.
Okay.
They'd need a break or something before they can go in on that, right? um you wouldn't see that higher of an increase in like production of goods. So you wouldn't see, say, goods dramatically decrease in prices because, okay, suddenly there's a lot more of them on sale, right?
Yeah, but that's why I think it would be harder though, because if it's 48 hours, right, your daily cost of living, you as an individual, would go substantially higher. Especially if you have kids or something, you have to now account for feeding them for 48 hours, and you're working to generally support yourself for 24, right?
Yeah.
So either the markets are gonna have to sell their stuff cheaper, or you're gonna have to work more.
Oh, they definitely.
You kind of get what I mean?
Yeah, I do get your point there. So okay, from
Because what,
a
you're just gonna eat like
so
24 hours?
okay, so let's break that point down, right? So from a cost perspective, right, or say from just a supply and demand perspective, right? Um, you won't have an absurdly higher supply, but you will have a higher demand,
Yeah.
right? So you'll actually see a shortage of goods in the short term,
Oh yeah, definitely. But
right?
long term wise, you're gonna
But
have to cut down
long
those
term,
prices.
it'll slowly actually decrease prices. Yeah, you have a good point, because a lot more people will be buying more. Yeah, that's true.
Especially if you have kids, right? That would give you even more reasons not to have kids, right? Because if you have one kid, you're already paying double. So if you have two kids, you're paying for four kids instead of two. And if you
Well,
have
not
three, you're
only are
paying
you
for
paying
six
double for your kids, you're paying double for yourself, and then your partner, your family,
kids as
whoever
well.
else is in the house,
Yeah.
right?
So
Also, you have to think about it like this: medicine would also go double.
yeah, medicine as well. Everything would go double. Like the demand for everything would just double, because you'd have essentially double the day with half the
Hmm.
day of normality, right? You'd have more free time though. I guess would be good, right? So taking it to the point, we kind of feel like the daily cost of living would go up, which we both agree, and I think that's just a general assumption, right?
This
I
time
think,
is money. That's the concept. Time is money. That's
yeah.
literally that.
So on the note of time of money, time is money. I think that's actually beneficial, and I think you'd see more entrepreneurs and people pursuing their like markets or their passions or so, because if you're okay, right? Say you're not the percentage of people that get heavily affected by the double cost, and you're not living on that paycheck to paycheck. You can't
Yeah. So
feed
if you're
yourself if you don't, right?
comfortable, yeah.
Right? If you're one of those people, or in that majority, like section of them, like people, um, it'd be really good for entrepreneurs and stuff like that, because you'd have more free time and more ability to space out your work times throughout the day, including your union work, right? Like say for example us, and we're not just doing this project, and we're also doing union, and say for summer, and so we get our work and we're working part-time and everything, it'd be
Hmm.
beneficial, because instead of having maybe 4 hours 5 hours a day to work on whatever we're pursuing, you'd then have 10 hours that you could split into 5 hours into segments which are more manageable.
But okay, let me put it to let me pose you this, right? wouldn't you have a lot more time to just screw around then?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's kind of why for people that are hustling, it's good, right? But for people that are just doing whatever they want, it's good for them because they want to do whatever they want, right? But it's
Mm-hmm.
not good for like pushing someone into like a job or a career or something like
Okay,
that.
do you think, because okay, as a procrastinator, right? It does get bored sometimes when you do get to a point where you've just procrastinated enough, like you need to just get your work done, either because of the
You need to do
deadline,
something.
you just
Yeah.
go do it, or you just get that bored procrastinating that you just out of pure boredom, you just go and do the work that you've been putting off, right? Do you think it would be either that procrastinators would get bored faster, or do you think that procrastinators would procrastinate more and waste more time?
Oh, procrastinate more easily.
Do you think they would
Easily.
procrastinate
Yeah,
more?
easily. The majority of people nowadays, especially with all these like social media platforms and all these means of wasting your time, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no it's not like in the old days or so where you had to play with a stick for 18 hours, right? Now
Mm.
there's so many options and it would get even more because people make apps specifically for people that are bored and they want to do something, right? So I think it would just procrastination would become even more of a problem than it currently is. I think because realistically, right? Say it's your summer or something, right? How many
Oh,
hours of
you
that can you
could
do it?
binge
Yeah,
entire Netflix shows in two
yeah.
days.
And not everyone has that
Not
same
even
drive,
two
that same
days.
mentality of like, I want to do something in my life. This is what I want to do. This is how I'm gonna do it, right? Not everyone's built like that, right? Not
Okay,
everyone's gonna set themselves deadlines and follow them.
so talking about summer, talking about growth a little bit now,
Hmm.
moving forward a little bit, right?
Okay,
Now, you have been very much on the gym scene. I've been on and off the gym scene,
okay.
right? How do you think that that would work? Physical health. Because, okay, now you have 48 hours in the day. You have more time to work out, sure, but you also have to take into account recovery. You also have to take into account, um, you got to work with me here. I'm no health
man's,
expert.
man's questioning health. He's
No,
like,
no, but you
what's
get the point
that?
that I'm trying to make. Yeah, you get the point that I'm trying to make, right?
Your
I
calorie
was going
deficits
somewhere
and
with that.
stuff like that.
There's a
Yeah,
point,
yeah,
yeah, right? So how do you think that would work? Okay, yeah, recovery and then also binge eating
yeah. Your
and managing
calories.
your
Yeah.
diet, right? So
Yeah,
how do you
it'd
think
be
that
there would be
would be effective?
extremes of both, right? Because you have the gym nuts, the gym rats, right? And they would go to the gym longer. They'd
Hmm.
work out more. They'd rest longer because they have more time, right? They'd use that time effectively. And then you have the other side of the extreme, people that are a little bigger that don't know what a gym is. They don't want to go to gym. Not even a gym specifically. They don't want to go physical activities or something. They play games all day or they do whatever they want, right? They're just going to get fatter. It's kind of there's going to be extremes of both, and then you're going to have the middle, like a normal person. He eats on a certain time period, right? Not purposely, it's just how he eats. He eats a certain amount of calories just to maintain himself through the day. So I think it's kind of how it is now, just adjust for 48 hours, right? Except
Where
the
do you think that
extremes.
people in the
Yeah.
middle would more bend towards? Would they go towards, like, if you had to say, right, on the spectrum of
Yeah.
completely like static lives
Hmm.
versus completely active lives, right? Where do you think the people in the middle would kind of move towards? Do you think they would become more active? Do you think they would become a little more static?
Because there's more time in the day, people that are very outdoorsy, right? So we're assuming normal people. Normal people, would you consider them to go out a lot?
I'd assume so.
So if they are people that go out a lot and they don't procrastinate by sitting at home or watching phones or stuff like that, right? Then yeah, they could possibly go towards the gym right side. But if they're a normal person that just kind of chills on their own throughout the day, just kind of eats now and then, just relax, they could go towards the fat side, right?
Hmm.
I feel like that's just it's kind of
It
dependent on the
depends on the
person.
person. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But the extremes would get worse. Like the gym
Hmm.
rat people, they would get way more gym ratty, and then the other side, they would get worse, right? Because there's just more fuel for them to push into the wrong
Do you
direction.
think there would be a big shift between people from the middle? Like, do you think there would be less people in that middle range, or do you think there'd be roughly the same amount? Like, do you think there'd be more people moving towards either extreme,
Yeah, they would
right?
definitely
And
go
then
more
less people
extreme.
in the middle. You think it'd be
Yeah,
like
because you're gonna be having nine to
more
10 hours a
concentrated?
day to yourself to do whatever, right? You're either gonna find a means to just waste your time, right? So you're either gonna
Mhm.
go into the procrastinating side, or you're gonna find a means of staying outside, hanging
Getting
out with
something
friends,
done.
partying, or getting something done as well, right? You'd more of go into that. There'd be less just normal basic people living to time, because a lot of people, right? They work 9 to 5, they come home, they have 2 hours to do what they want, then 2 hours to like eat, maybe rest, whatever, and then they sleep, wake up again. That's kind of their schedule,
Mhm.
right? But if they have more, it's going to go either or. But this is only comfy people, right? Because people that are broke or living paycheck to paycheck, they're going to definitely have to go more on the fit side, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's my opinion at least. All right, so we kind of have seen the daily life, right? But
Hmm.
what about day and night? How do you think that would play out? Do you think day would be longer, or night would be longer, or it'd be growing as of right now?
Um, that's a really good question. I honestly think w- we should keep it as like half the day. So you have 24 hours of basically daytime and then 24 hours of more
12 hours
like
of night? Oh,
nighttime.
that'd be straight 24 hours night. You'd be going
Yeah,
like
so 48,
Alaska in
48.
this.
Yeah.
I think that's excessive.
Okay, then go 36 hours day and then what do
12
you have
hours
left?
night.
Yeah, 12 hours night, but that's not enough for
That's
sleep.
not a lot either. So
Yeah,
30 hours day, 18 hours night.
that's nice.
For you, right? If you had the option right now, would you take 48 hours instead of 24 hours a day?
Definitely, because personally, I am like, thank God, right? I'm comfortable like financially and
Hmm.
whatnot, right? So I don't need to necessarily push to have a part-time job, though I would actually put that on the table that that could be something I could do, right? But there would be so much more time for me to I don't know, study, work on like possible entrepreneurship opportunities, right? Obviously play more video games because that's a hobby, right? Like
Hmm.
you'd have more time, like comfortable time to play without like sacrificing time to do important stuff,
Yeah,
right?
I get what you mean.
And I definitely think depending on I guess how I grow towards that time, I might either become, like you said, more towards the fatter extreme or the fitter extreme.
I kind of feel like 48 hours is too much. I'd take like
Yeah.
36. That, that'd be
We're
solid
not
for me.
bargaining. It's either
Yeah.
24 or 48. You pick.
Yeah. I feel like there's too much unknown with the 48 hours.
Hmm.
It could it could make me work like 16 hours a day, and I'm not
You're not with
prepared for
that.
that. Yeah, no, I'm not built for that. So I'm gonna stick to the 24 hours.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because I know my productive limits on it. Because I'd have to rediscover all that as well. You'd have to now plan for 48 hours and learn how you like
I mean,
work
I
and
guess that's fun as well, right? Because
no.
discovering new things, just limit testing basically, right? In real life. That's fun. I mean,
I mean, the best to you. It's just not for me.
the journey's the best part,
Hey, Captain.
right?
Hey, I think that's kind of all we have to say.
Yeah. I don't know.
So
Anyway, leave your thoughts in the comments. What would you guys do if you guys had 48 hours in the day instead of 24? Would
yeah,
you rather 24 hours or would you rather 48 hours?
yeah. Drop a like, hit that subscribe if you're entertained by our content. If not,
Yeah,
how could we improve it, or what do you think we're doing wrong per se?
yeah.
Yeah, other than that,
We drop videos every weekday, and at the end of the week, we drop a special. So we'll see you tomorrow.
hopefully.